I don't need to. Presence louder than the words you say. Door swings slow, I don't rush in. Take my time, let the room spin. Eyes loud once you look away. You feel me more when I barely say. Tuck shirt, clean line.
Yo, can y'all hear me? I think y'all can. Hopefully y'all can. Hopefully the music ain't too loud, but what's good, y'all? So real quick, so we want to get into the day. First of all, welcome to the stream. You know what I mean? We in this John, but we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna talk about what we're working on. So first thing is our tools for today is we got Procreate, Apple Pencil, and we have. So I'll say it like this. I think one of the biggest things you can do, because this stream is like specifically for like animation and character design all in one. But at least for me, like one thing that I've been learning that's been helping me get better at animation is planning the animation out prior to practicing in it, so I guess you say like I'll just talk as I'm drawing. So real quick, so the scene right here is, long story short, we have a character that I'm designing for my comic or whatever, and the prompt for the animation is for this character to be finding himself in a situation where he's like, channeling his energy through his body and about to go into a fight. You know what I mean? So that's the prompt. So I say all to say, um, when you have, to me, at least in my personal opinion, when you got an idea of what you're trying to animate, like what scene you're trying to. Oh, we just got to follow. Appreciate you. You got Gold W32 in the building. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Feel me? Welcome to the tribe, you mean? But yeah, what I was saying was, when you got at least some type of idea of what you're trying to animate, it makes the job um, way more simpler. So just to make it simple, and again, we over in Procreate. So I'm gonna open up a new artboard real quick. So I'm just gonna write, I don't know, like the prompt is gonna be character. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me see if you. All right, that's dark enough. So our prompt is gonna be character throws punch. So boom, instead of which I've done in the past, instead of like going, to your favorite anime scene and try to learn whatever, which I don't think is a bad idea. You know what I mean? If you know what you're trying to learn, I definitely spell character wrong. But I'll say all this, say like to me, when we do it this way, it makes it a little easier because you already know what you're trying to do. So it's more specifically in Procreate. Any of my anime nerds, the most simplest thing that you can learn or think about when it comes to animation is frames, aka new sheets of paper. You know what I mean? So anybody, there's a app called Flip a Clip. I think it's a simple app to use when it comes to animation or whatever. But specifically for Procreate, this is one of the reasons why I like anime and Procreate. So y'all probably not going to be able to see it because my webcam is in the way, but my fault. I'll try to make sure I got the camera set up a little better for y'all. But anyway, when we go to actions on Procreate and when we go to Canvas, it's this tool called Animation Assist. Right? Once we select that, now we automatically got a frame. You know what I'm saying? And then once we go to add frames, now we got three pieces of paper. You know what I'm saying? Or AKA frames. And this is how we start to create the illusion of movement. So when we doing animation, there's like the 12, for anybody that's new to it. I do think studying the 12 principles of animation, I think that helps. And I think some animators from Disney came up with those 12 principles of animation. So I've been looking into that for the last couple of years. You know what I mean? So I definitely been helpful. But anyway, long story short, we got the prompt, character throws punch. Now, two ways we can do it. We can do it off the top of our head, or we can do the cliche look for a reference, which I don't think is a bad idea. So I'm just showing my process with y'all and what I like to do. You know what I mean? When it comes to this, and just to give y'all a heads up, when it comes to me streaming, I don't just do digital art. I also do, I'm a gamer as well, and I also do like, fitness stuff. But for this specific stream, we just focusing on digital art and animation. This stream is specifically for my art nerds and lovers out there. So I'm in Pinterest. So I'm just gonna type in character throws punch. But what I like to do, what's been helping me out lately, is I'll type in animation frame references, and that actually helped me a lot coming up with some the scenes or the frames for that animation that I showed earlier. And if everybody new to the stream, you might have missed it. So this right here is a perfect god doggone example. Is it gonna open up? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so if I zoom in for y'all, this is a perfect example of what we're looking for. Beautiful John. I'm from Philly. Beautiful John. So look, I'll see if I can zoom over. My fault, y'all. I know it's a little dark. I like dark lighting. I don't like too much lights. So if we look, if you right here, you see we got the first. This is because this will be our frame. This is gonna be our frame, for. We got the first frame. You see the arm is right here, right? Then when we go over to this is gonna be the second frame. Boom! Now that hand is moving forward, right? That shows it, and you see the arrow right here, and then the shoulder is now in front of, like towards the front of the character's body, like here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then this hand that was forward, it goes back. You know what I mean? So for all my any of my boxers out there, that's like standard. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get the rotation and the strike. You know what I mean? That's what's gonna generate the power. And then this could be the third frame. Boom. And then now that's more of like a full rotation. You know what I mean? Because now that hand, that back hand is like more fully extended. You feel me? So, and as you can see, you got 1, 2, 3. And now this is really good. This could be like the very last one. So it's that, and I think so. If I can remember off the top of my head, when it comes to the animation principles, I think there's spacing, timing, then we got arcs. Those are the three that come off, to the top of my head. So these references that we about to use for these three frames, this will be I think if I'm getting it right, this will be an idea of spacing. You know what I mean? Because now that, let me take a screenshot of this. Yeah, so we're gonna use these three Johns. Beautiful John. Save the photos. Boom, we're gonna go back under Procreate. You know what I mean? Then we're gonna go to add instant private photo. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And again, we just making it rough. Like all the details, at least from what I've been learning, like once you get like all of the movement in there first, like you know like the details, like the cleanup work, it's tedious, don't get me wrong. But I feel like once you got the foundation down packed, it makes the job a lot easier compared to like trying to get a perfect illustration down first on like I don't know, I just feel like just getting the core or the nucleus of the John right, and then you're gonna be straight. So we're gonna be rough sketching it. You know what I mean? But within a couple minutes, you feel me? We gonna have a little animation, a little simple John, beautiful John. I don't know. Let me see. So I'm looking at the lighting on for y'all, and I'm not sure if it's gonna come up. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. So I'm trying to get it to where y'all can at least see what's actually going on. Yeah, we're just gonna have to make that work. And of course, we keeping it simple with the shapes. Usually I do stick figures, honestly, especially when I'm doing poses. Um, I just do stick figures along with shapes. Sometimes I do gesture drawing. I do think I need to do that a little more. But honestly, I do a combination of multiple techniques on it. I just don't use one John. You know what I'm saying? Torso. Yeah, so for this hand, we gonna see more form than anything. Boom. Just want to use that for the torso. And for the ankle. Boom. And you got the leg coming out here. Now, so instead of drawing this all over again, what I like to do is and this is why I like using Procreate and Procreate Dreams because it's such a powerful program. The difference between Procreate and Procreate Dreams is, hold on, in Procreate we can get the we can get you can do some beautiful art in Procreate. Don't get it twisted. For anybody that's new to, if you're not, great. The biggest difference between Procreate and Procreate Dreams is, my personal belief. I think Procreate Dreams is more powerful, meaning you can take your animations to the next level because you can add sound to your animations. That's different. So it's like I can make this dope ass anime, and also they run synonymous. So it's like I can do all of my illustration work over here in Procreate, and then I can pull my illustration work over into Procreate Dreams, and then I can add sound effects and all types of stuff. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. This was the animation drawing that I did on this class that I took on Skillshare. So this, all right, so this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let me see. Y'all probably can't hear the sound, but I don't know. Hold on. Like somebody did that in Procreate Dreams, yo. That's crazy. Like this is so dope. And the thing about it is like, so in Procreate Dreams, you can do something like where you can add tracks to it. Like just like if anybody who's on the stream that's a gamer or a content creator, like when you edit it in your videos, and like let's say like I don't know, you editing your videos in a CapCut or Canva, you'll have multiple tracks on whatever piece of content that you got on your video, and you can extend or shorten how long it's going to pop up like on your content. You know what I mean? So it's essentially the same thing on here. And so you can split your animations up on different tracks and then edit it, adjust it upon that. But I just want to show y'all that, like, that's why I like Procreate Dreams, and I'm still learning it. You know what I mean? For me, like I know like other creators or creatives use, like Clip Studio Paint and stuff like that, which I don't mind using, but I like out of all the digital tools that I've been using all years when it comes to this, Illustrator, Photoshop, this is the one I've spent the most time using, and I've been spending the most time consistently learning. So because of that, I decided to just like stick with it for the most part. I still do want to learn how to use Clip Studio Paint, you know what I mean, especially like for my comic and stuff. But for the most part, like this is the program that I've really been consistently like learning, especially when it comes to animation and is learning how to use like Procreate and Procreate Dreams. Whole nother conversation. But anyway, so instead of drawing this all over again, what I do is, because you can select your frame, so we're going to select our frame with our Apple Pencil. Now we're going to duplicate that, right? And then now we're going to add in the adjustments. We're just going to erase some, why the hell is my eraser not working? The deception. First of all, my pencil is not working. What's going on? All right, boom. What? What's that? Oh, I was in the wrong frame. Was I? Yeah, I don't know why that's not working, y'all. Welcome to the stream, anybody new. Yo, why is this joint not working, bruh? Yo, they doing me grimy, y'all. This rarely ever happens. Why are they doing that? That's weird. Yeah, I don't know why they doing that. Did I duplicate the wrong frame? That's what I did. Y'all, I ain't messed up. I drew our illustration on the wrong frame. No worries. This one we're gonna do. You're gonna turn opacity down. Boom. Then we're gonna go on frame one and just we're gonna trace all over again. No worries. No worries. All good.
Door swing slow, but don't rush in. Take my time, let the room spin. Eyes loud once you look away. You feel me more when I
So I was wondering, I'm like, yo, why the hell this joint not working? Terrible joint.
watch this heavy on the wrist. Oh man, quiet grin.
Had me worried over there, yo. Had me worried over there, chat. You feel me? You mean? Yo, speaking of our geeky stuff, who the hell is watching Invincible right now, yo? That shit is crazy. I just caught up on Wednesday's most recent episode. Insane. But people have kind of been grinding up the animation on there, especially like when you guys showed like Jujutsu Kaisen and how they just ain't. Oh my god, that joint was, yo. Honestly, that shit was too much for me to process, like in a good way though. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna duplicate that frame, boom, and instead of drawing everything all over again, see this is where the digital stuff come in handy. We're just gonna erase certain parts and then add. My fault, y'all probably can't see, and then add in new parts. You know what I mean? So now the front hand. Well, no, I'm lying. The backhand is gonna come forward. Boom. I'm trying to look at the prior frame, and it's like slightly bent, so it's like in between, like the punch beginning, and in that mid phase, like right before the full extension of the punch. You know what I'm saying? And then let's see if I can see this right. Yeah, then now that this hand has to go back, so we're gonna erase that, and then we're gonna pretend that hand is going back that way. You know, to get that rotation, and then we're just gonna slightly show the fist on there, and we're gonna erase this, adjust the torso, add the fist right there, and I kind of feel like the leg should like be turned a little more like towards forward, you know what I mean? Because like when you boxing and you, especially if you want to throw power on that cross, you really want to step into that too and rotate. So what we going to do instead of drawing everything over and again, but don't get me wrong, I love to draw, but animation does take time, you know what I mean? So these are like little tips and tricks that you can do to make it your job a little bit easier. So we're gonna use the select tool, right, on Procreate, and then that allows you to like draw a outline of whatever the hell you want to manipulate on a program. So now we're gonna use our direct select tool, I guess you can say, like something like how it would be like on Photoshop or Illustrator. Now we got this leg selected, right? Now we're just gonna drag it over, boom, right? So now, if you go to the first frame, we zoom in. This frame number 1, boom, and we go to frame number 2. Now we have movement. You see how simple that is? Y'all see how simple that is? You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm about to get up out of here. I just wanted to do a quick little drawing with y'all, rock out with y'all. Feel free to tap in with me, y'all. You know what I mean? Cause I'm actually about to do a gaming stream, you know, and I wanted to make sure I'm being more consistent. You know, I wanted to force myself to be consistent. So I say, you know what, the biggest, easiest thing I can do to force myself to be consistent is to make sure I'm doing at least 20 to 30 minutes, just starting off more consistently when it comes to this. Cause like I've been streaming for about a year now, but I just been like, you know, going through the motions and getting caught up and not having a, like a big following and stuff like that. I had to get all that stuff out of my head. Um, but I want to make sure I'm being consistent, like in smaller increments, and then I know it's going to add up, like over time as long as I do that. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I might stay on here longer. Um, but I just wanted to, share that with y'all, rock out with y'all, wrote, so at least y'all can say that hopefully y'all learned something. You know what I mean? And now we can see after I did that how that applies to what I'm actually working on right here. You know what I mean? So the biggest thing was, I gotta change my direction because I need to sit back a little bit. But then y'all can't see. Let me see. We'll make it work. Turn my laptop over a little bit. I think it's cool. Yeah, cause I got my earphones and I ain't trying to have them Jones come out. All right, I think we cool. Oh, damn it, my camera done messed up. Uh, okay, that was weird. That escalated quickly. Let's see. Okay, well, I don't know what the hell happened to my webcam, but whatever. It's okay. I don't look that good. You don't need to see my face anyway. All right. Whatever. We still here. But yeah. So, but yeah, like I was saying, one of the biggest things, at least that I learned from trial and error, is that when you are doing animation and you feel like your animation is like a little too uh stiff, pause, you need to add more, they call it in-betweens. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but I just want to say these things, because it helps me continue to learn and reminds myself that I actually do be taking the time out to learn this stuff, even though I don't know everything, I'm still learning. But more in-betweens helps with adding more smooth movement, and that's something that I'm trying to master. You know what I mean? Because when you see shows like My Hero Academia, man, it's just like, oh, some of the scenes be so beautiful. Like it's like they be making the characters just like fucking glide. That shit just be looking immaculate, yo, immaculate. First of all, ew, this pencil is poop. Is this the same pencil that I was using? I don't know. But yeah, also I realized that when it comes to animation, you're also being a director because like you're showing different like movements and different camera angles and it's so much stuff that goes on to animation just that makes it look cool. So me learning that, man, I just feel like that has made me a better artist. You know what I mean? But I say all to say, like on our first frame, we got our character in the distance, and then when we go to our second frame, we got a close up on a fist. Now we got a different angle on the fist, and now the fist is opening, the fist is closing, opening again, and I actually kind of move like some of this energy around. And then this picture, we have a little more detail on how my character look. My character name is Kyo, by the way. Either Kyo or Kai. I'm still not sold on how I want his name to be, but either way, this is the character, one of my characters, OG characters. Um, and yeah, we just playing around like with, like differences in movement, changes in the angle, and then the in action. So essentially, the in action was for him to power up, you know what I mean, charge the energy up or whatever, release it, and then do like end up on this like shockwave attack. You know what I'm saying? So when we play it through, I'm still learning how to try to make it smooth, pause. But this is what we got so far. You feel me? But I just wanted to rock out, share that with y'all. Man, while I'm on this joint, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm also on YouTube. You know what I mean? You can get access to that on my Twitch channel for anybody who still want to follow me. You know what I'm saying? And just join me, man. Join me on my journey. I'm doing everything, yo. Listen, man. You know what I mean? I'm doing my own comic or whatever, and I'm creating um, a short film, you know what I mean, for my comic, and that's where this comes in. I'm a new age artist, so I also do believe in utilizing AI to enhance, the workflow. So I've done streams on that as well. So be on the lookout for that. I can actually show y'all how I have used, AI to just make some dope shit, along with what, my own original art that I've drawn and stuff like that. So, like hand drawn and, add a color to it and Procreate and then take that and put it in another program to create like some cinematic type shit. You know what I mean? I already had that stuff like on my other, social media platforms, but appreciate you again for Go W32 for rocking with your boy. Or just yeah, man, any follow helps. You feel me? Any comment, any like coming on to the streams, comment, or even just watching and just, watching me talk my talk is all helpful, yo. You feel me? So because I'm just trying to blend my love for, martial arts, storytelling, gaming, animation, and all that all into one. You feel me? So that's why I'm on this joint, and I'm also trying to build community, man. You feel me? And rock out with y'all, with my other nerds out there. You feel me? My other creators out there, man. All right. Well, we about to get about this joint. Wanted to keep it sweet and simple. You feel me? Drop some knowledge, drop some gems on y'all. And y'all enjoy